Nobody ever sat you down and taught you this game. No class, no lesson, nothing. But you've been playing it since the day you turned 18. And right now, most of you are losing. And you don't even know it. Let me show you two people. Person A pays their bills, mostly on time. Missed one payment a couple years back, didn't think much of it. Never really checks their score, just lives their life. Person B checked their score early, understood the rules of the game, sits comfortably above 750. Here's the part that should make you a little angry. Same income, same job, basically the same lifestyle. But person A is paying thousands of dollars more every single year for the exact same car, the exact same apartment, the exact same credit card, just because of 3 digits they never bothered to understand.
That's not an accident. That's a system. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand it better than most people ever will. I'm Johnny. Before we get into the video, I want to mention that this video is for educational purposes. Let's get into it. I've spent a lot of time pulling apart exactly how the credit bureaus calculate this number. Not the watered-down version you usually hear, the actual mechanics. And once you see it laid out, you're not going to look at your credit score the same way again. Let's talk about why this actually matters right now, at this age. Trying to rent an apartment in a city like Austin or New York, they're pulling your score before they even meet you. Buying a car? Your score decides your interest rate, and that can be the difference between a $300 a month payment and a $450 a month payment on the exact same car. Want a credit card that actually gives you something back? Decent cash back, decent points? That's score-gated too.
Some employers check it. Some landlords weigh it more than your actual income. Right now, the average American credit score sits at 714. Sounds fine, right? Here's the twist. Nearly half of all Americans, 48%, are now sitting above 750. And Gen Z's average is running below the national number, around 678. So there's a real gap forming. Some are pulling ahead, some are falling behind. And it's not about who's making more money. Here's the part almost nobody tells you. Your credit score isn't measuring whether you're good with money. It's measuring something completely different. I'll show you exactly what that is in a second.
Let's gonna break this whole thing down using what we call the 5 levels of the credit game. 5 factors. That's it. That's 100% of your score. And here's the catch. If you're failing even one of these levels, it doesn't matter how good you are at the other 4. You're capped. The 5 levels are payment history, credit utilization, length of credit history, credit mix, and new credit. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which level is holding you back and the fastest way to level up.
Level 1. Payment history. This one makes up about 35% of your entire score. The single biggest factor, bigger than everything else combined, basically. Think of it as the report card of the game. And like any report card, one bad grade sticks around. A single missed payment can sit on your credit report for up to 7 years. The mistake almost everyone makes is assuming a small missed payment doesn't really count. It does. The bureaus don't care if it was $5 or $500. Late is late. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Set up autopay for at least the minimum payment on everything you owe. Even if you can't pay the full balance, paying the minimum on time protects this entire category. But here's where even people who pay on time every month still trip up.
Level 2. Credit utilization. This is close to 30% of your score, and it trips up more people than any other factor because it's invisible until it isn't. Think of your credit limit like a fuel tank. Lenders get nervous when they see you constantly running on empty, using almost all of your available credit every month. General rule, stay under 30% of your limit. Under 10% if you're chasing a really high score. Here's the mistake people make. They max out a card for the points or for an emergency, planning to pay it off before the due date. But utilization isn't measured on the due date. It's measured on your statement closing date. So even if you pay it off in full right after, that high balance already got reported,
and it already dinged your score. The fix? Pay your balance down before the statement closes, not just before it's due. Level 3. Length of credit history. Around 15% of your score. Think of this as your loyalty level in the game. The longer your accounts have been open, the more the system trusts you, which is exactly why the biggest mistake here is closing your oldest credit card the second you stop using it. The moment you close it, you lose that account's age, and your average credit history gets shorter overnight. The fix? Keep your oldest card open. Even if it's just running one small subscription through it once a year, keep it alive. Level 4. Credit mix. Only about 10% of your score, so don't lose sleep over this one. Lenders like seeing that you can handle different types of credit. A credit card, maybe a car loan, maybe a student loan. It's less one skill maxed out and more well-rounded player. You don't need to go take out a loan just to check this box. It fills in naturally over time. Lowest priority of the 5. Level 5. New credit. The final 10%. Every time you apply for a new card or loan, it triggers something called a hard inquiry. Think of a hard inquiry like knocking on the same door too many times in a short window. It starts to look desperate, even when you're not. The mistake: applying for 3 or 4 cards in the same month, especially right before something big, like a car loan or a mortgage application. The fix? Space your applications out. And if you've got a major purchase coming up in the next 6 months, hold off on applying for anything new.
Let's take a US example. Let's put all 5 levels into one situation. Meet Maya, 26, living in Austin, making around $45,000 a year. Her score was sitting at 640. Not bad, not good. Right in that frustrating middle zone. 2 things were quietly dragging her down. First, she was running her credit card at roughly 70% utilization every single month. Not because she was reckless, just because her limit was low and her rent was high. Second, she'd applied for 3 store credit cards in the same month during a big shopping trip, chasing 20% off today deals. Here's what changed. She asked her existing card issuer for a credit limit increase, which instantly dropped her utilization percentage without her spending $1 less. She stopped applying for new cards completely for 6 months. And she kept her oldest card open, just running one small bill through it automatically. Within a few months, scores like this typically climb meaningfully, often somewhere in the range of 40 to 60 points, depending on the starting point. Not overnight, but steady and completely within her control. That's the whole game, really. Small, boring, repeatable actions, not some secret trick. Common mistakes. Quickfire round. 5 mistakes I see constantly. 1. Checking your score the wrong way. Free apps like Credit Karma or your bank's built-in score check use a soft inquiry. Doesn't hurt your score at all. Applying for new credit does. Know the difference. 2. Co-signing a loan for a friend or family member without realizing their missed payment becomes your missed payment too. 3. Believing you need to carry a balance and pay interest to build your score. You don't. That's a myth the credit card companies are more than happy for you to believe. 4. Ignoring errors on your credit report. Mistakes happen more often than you'd think, and you have the legal right to dispute them for free. 5. Panic closing cards the moment they're paid off. That just shortens your credit history, and it can lower your score instead of raising it. Let's bring it back together. Payment history, utilization, length, mix, new credit. Master those 5 levels, and hitting 750 plus stops being luck. It becomes a system you're running on purpose. If you want a simple way to actually track where you stand across all 5 levels, that's worth setting up today, not someday. But here's the thing. Your credit score means almost nothing if half your paycheck is still disappearing into rent before you even see it. That's exactly what I'm breaking down next. If this video helped you, do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one.